Here's a shot I took a couple weeks ago. It was at a beautiful farm out in Oregon. So I'm going to start with crop and then kind of just dive into the settings. I'm going to start with white balance, warm it up just a touch. Maybe bring the tint down just a little bit. Exposure up. Contrast, maybe -1. Probably can't tell. Highlights, I'm going to bring those down. Right about there. Whites go -5. Blacks will bring +5. And then tone curve, this is really where a lot of the look is going to come from. So I'm going to show you kind of from scratch how this works. I'm going to start with just the RGB, the overall channel, and put 2 points right there. Grab the bottom, pull it up in the middle, and just kind of find a spot that I like. Turn it on and turn it off. You can see kind of the difference. Going to bring those highlights up just a touch, and then go to the color red. I'm going to make basically an S-curve on all three of the colors. So we'll start with those 2 points and then add one more at the bottom, pull it down a little bit. You can kind of see to the photo what it's doing to the shadows of red. I'm going to bring that up just a touch, and I added one more point on that. And I know this all looks really weird right now, but you'll kind of get an idea of how it all looks, of course, once all three are done. Same with green. Going to basically make another S-curve. Pull the shadows down a little bit. Bring the midtones up a little, as well as the highlights. And then on to blue. Pretty much the same thing. Going to bring those shadows down just a touch. The mids up, as well as the highlights. And it's starting to look a little better now. And we're going to kind of fine tune this in a little bit, but we're going to move on more to the HSL, which is basically just hue, saturation, and luminance. So I'm going to show you kind of what most of these do if you were to mess with it. This is the hue of red. I'm going to bring it up. This is the hue of orange. +5 on that. And then this is yellow. I'm going to go minus about 10 on that. Yeah, right about there. Green, I'm going to bring it up. And that makes the green just a little bit more green. Magenta really affects mostly her dress in this shot. This is saturation. Saturation of red, just bring it down, -5. Orange, really this mostly affects skin tone, and of course in this shot, the grass. So +25, that really brings more color into their faces. Yellow, I brought it up. Green, I'm bringing up +50. It really isn't doing much. The green's very subtle in this shot. And then magenta, I'm bringing it down, which is her dress again, mostly. Luminance, of course, is just the brightness of what color you want to adjust. And then, yeah, let's move on to grain. For this shot, I really wanted it to be grainy. I like that look a lot. Reminds me of film. I wish I could shoot film. It's just too expensive. I usually tend to bring the size of the grain pretty high up, and then the roughness, I usually shoot that up. In this case, I'm going to do 75. And that really, it makes it look more realistic versus digital grain. And then I turned on my color profile for this specific lens, which is my 50mm, my Canon 5D3. And now back to fine tuning. We're going to just change the exposure a little bit. Go back to the channel of red. It's looking a little funky. I'm going to grab that top point and just adjust it to where it looks good. And then the shadows of that point. I'm going to leave it there. Go to green, grab the middle, and kind of just play with it till I get it where I like it. Really, the overall look, again, of this shot is from tone curve. And you'll see that in just a second when I turn it on and turn it off. Going back to red, going to make just a tiny adjustment. Just pulling a little of that red out. And now real quick, I'm going to work on this hair. It's a little crazy, a little wild. In the original shot I edited for her, I got rid of it, so I'm going to do that in this tutorial as well. Basically just using a spot brush, turning the feathering to where it looks good and blends, and I'm doing it in clone mode. I'm also going to remove this one on her forehead as well as on top of her head. And that's pretty good. We'll just touch up some of these stray hairs and call it good. Of course, you could take this into Photoshop and it'll do a much better job. But for the sake of a short tutorial, I'm going to do this like this. It's just a little bit quicker. And when you're editing like 700 images in a actual full wedding set, usually I'll just try to stick with using the spot removal on here. Grabbing a brush and just bringing down the exposure on his forehead. It was just getting a little bright, only -30. And then some final tweaking. That bottom shadow reds and the tone curve, I'm still not that happy with it, but right there. Now you can see with tone curves turned off, tone curves turned on. There's a huge difference. That's them off, and that's them on. You really can shape the photo really a lot. And then, of course, you can tweak white balance a lot more, make it a lot more cool, or make it warm. And then final adjustments, messing with those highlights, a little bit of the exposure, shadows. I think yeah, right there. There's the before. And this is what we came to. Thanks, guys, for watching. This was a quick edit. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment. And if you want this preset, I'm going to put it up for 99 cents. And I'll include a black and white preset that I really liked on this specific photo as well. That will be below in the description. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I will see you next time.